thing.
My cat is literally like staring at me. So if I look up, my cat is behind my camera sitting in the window. It's kind of funny. So back to my original topic, I wanted to make sure that I touched on it. Be who you needed when you were a kid. My dad traveled a lot. I think my dad ran and hid from emotion. He worked his butt off. His dad, Fred Kessner Sr., told him, because my dad one day went to him and says, what am I supposed to do with my life? What am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be? And he's like, figure out what you love to do and then figure out how to get paid doing it, and you'll love your job for the rest of your life. You'll have moments where you hate it because it'll be the hardest thing ever, but if you don't give up, you'll love your job. So my dad did that. We didn't have hardly any money growing up. We had 6 kids. We had a big home because we had 6 kids. I mean, kids were stacked up. And then my dad was an entrepreneur, and he worked and he worked and he worked, and we were poorer than poor a lot of the times. And later in life, he found some success. Now he owns a company, and he had created this invention called a data logger it's called TV2, if you want to look it up, and he sells them all over the world to the military, and it's crazy. So family of entrepreneurs, but what that meant is that my dad was never around. Not until our later years when we could help him in the company. And what that meant is that basically the company was him and a couple of engineers and a few other people. And it's not slave labor. He paid us. And we were in our teens and 20s. As we all went and worked for dad at some point. So we got to know him in our later life, and it was different. So I wish I would have had him around more. He wasn't a bad dad. He was working. But my mom struggled. 5 boys. And a lot of emotional problems in there. And my mom did the best she could, but she came from a generation where you didn't talk about anything. Bless her heart. I think my mom had a chronically ill daughter and a bunch of boys that were just psycho, that were learning along the way, and I don't think my mom knew how to be the kind of mom they needed. I think she tried so hard. But then I got sick. My dad wasn't really around. We didn't have insurance, and I don't know how I got through it. So, my point. Be who you needed. Not just when you were younger. Be who you needed and need. Because the thing that I learned through all of that, and it wasn't later in life until I learned that, is that I can be what I know I lacked for other people. I can be sympathetic and empathetic and just listen and just be there and hug them, or try and understand and let them know I don't get what you're going through, but I'll be here for you. I'll sit here as long as you need me. I don't think I felt like that. I had that ever. So I think that's why I'm so big on being that. There are other things. I watched my older brother Alan, be that guy in high school that everyone knew and everybody wanted to be friends with, and he was the guy that sought out the kid no one talked to and brought him into the crowd and made them one of the cool kids. If you were sitting alone, he would find you. Why does it make me cry? I guess that's because my kids are those kids. I have learned so much throughout my life. I've watched other people. I've seen things that I don't want to be in other people throughout my life. I've seen things that I'm like, I am never going to treat someone like that. I'm never going to be this, or I'm going to work on this for me so that I am not that. I've learned things in people that I don't want to be, and I have learned things in people that I do want to be. There are traits in people that I see that I'm like, I want to be like that. I want to have that trait. I want to work on that. So you build yourself. So think about that. Be who you needed when you needed it for others. But be that for yourself, because no one's going to really do it for you. But I've found so much more empathy, so much more of a giving, loving, service-oriented heart. I would give you the shirt off my back if you didn't have one. God, why am I so emotional? But that's because I know what it's like to have nothing. I would feed you because I know what it's like to be hungry. I would teach you because I know what it's like to know nothing. I told you my dad is the smartest man I've ever known in my life. The thing that I've learned with my father, there are things that I've learned, traits that I've learned along the way. One of the amazing traits of my father, you know, he was always on this pedestal. He was always distant. Now he's so much more close. But it took years to get there, and he had to decide to get there, not us telling him. I'd tell him I wanted a desire to get there, but he has to do the work. But anyway, you can learn from hard things. You can learn from things that others aren't giving you. You can learn from traits that they have. You can take it and you can learn and grow, or you can be hella bitter. You can be angry. There's two paths. You can go that way, the road of resentment and anger and hate and blame and pride. I could hate my dad forever and my mom forever for the things that they didn't give me. Or I can say, there's a lot that I don't want for my kids that they tried but didn't get right that I'm working on. They're not bad people. They didn't go that way. They did the best they could. I'm allowed to learn and say, wow, I really needed that as a kid, Mom, Dad, brothers, friends. I really needed that. And I didn't get that from you. That kind of love and support, it really messed me up and later in life with emotional closeness or touchy-feely things or love. Like, we didn't shout, I love you, as we left the house to people. We didn't, growing up, it wasn't hugs all the time, kisses all the time, love all the time, touchy-feely, I love you, hanging out like this and having conversation. It wasn't like that. And
so I just wanted to mention that I also watched my parents take in children when their parents let them down, time and time again. We became the house that was comfortable, that was safe, that nothing bad was going on in stores, you know, the whole teenage thing. But it was a safe place. Kids could come there and talk to my parents about what's going on at home. I don't know why my parents could do that for everyone except us.
Do you need some water?
No? Oh, yeah, thanks. That's wonderful. Thank you. Maybe they did do it for us, and maybe I just had it too good to realize that what they were doing was so awesome. I don't know. So I need to make sure that you guys know that about my parents, that even though my dad wasn't there a lot and they made tons of mistakes, everyone does. Nobody's perfect. I watched my parents take in at least 4 different teenage boys at different times, helping take care of them because their families didn't.
What? Desired that. So I gave that to my kids. This is normal for them. Yelling I love you every 10 minutes, or being here and just thinking about a kid and going, hey Hunter, him going, what? I love you. I love you too, Mom. Thanks. I mean, it's nothing for my kids to text me from their bed every night, hey, I love you. I will see you in the morning. Rest well, Mom. And them initiate it. Because that's the love in our home. That was our desire. I don't know my point. I ain't gonna tie this one all up in a little bow because obviously I've got a lot of work left to do on it. I'm doing the work.
Mom,
What?
can you help me find fries?
Yeah, they're in the freezer.
Which one?
One of the 3 freezers we have. Hey Mom, just wanted to give you a quick little update. Today I am feeling just a teeny tiny bit better. I have a tiny bit of energy. I have put myself back on my caffeine supplement, even though Sam says to do no sugar, no caffeine. I felt that I was struggling way worse with bowel movements and focus and just energy level in general. Granted, it's supplemental caffeine, so it's like 100 milligrams up to like 200 milligrams. Still swollen in the neck. But the caffeine supplement, the last 2 days that I've taken it, has made a huge difference in my getting through the day and not having to sleep for hours and hours and hours. So it is what it is. I feel a tiny bit more normal because of it. I still feel like crap, but I'm able to do things. So I'm hurting from about here down into here and all the way about to there. All of that feels like somebody has dropped a bowling ball. I mean, it's really hard to swallow. It's really hard to breathe. It's really hard to feel normal. But I'm alive. I gotta figure out what to do about the swelling tissue. It's gotta go down soon.